Hello, and welcome to Hindsight 101, where you'll learn about things that will help you in everyday life. Now, if your medical or dental explanation of benefits, or EBO for short, has you confused, I'm here to help you out. Now, we're going to talk about deductibles, coinsurance, and copayments, so stay tuned. Hello, I'm Derek. And first, we're going to get some basics out of the way, like a few definitions of EBO, copayment, coinsurance, and deductibles. Then we're going to talk about how an EBO is different from a regular bill, and then also your rights if your EBO is different than your bill. So if you don't want to watch all of this, then skip ahead. I'll put the timestamp below. We're actually going to get to an example of what an EBO looks like. Okay, first, an EBO, or explanation of benefits, is not a bill. It's basically a detailed summary of all the procedures that you have done. This is not to say your EBO won't reflect what your bill is, but it's probably, the best way to describe it, a pre-bill. So you know what to expect when your bill does come. If your bill is not the same as your EBO, then you need to look into that. And then you have a few rights if there are issues. First and foremost, you can request an itemized bill from your healthcare provider, and that way you can check code by code to see if everything matches up and there was no mistake. Also, you want to check your information to make sure there wasn't a misspelled name or social security number, anything else that identifies you, because mistakes always happen, and that's how you can get billed incorrectly. Next, once you get your itemized bill, you also want to check for duplicate charges, because your insurance company will deny those charges, but the healthcare provider may still charge them, not knowing they doubled up on your charges. You could always call the billing department of your healthcare provider and have them go through each item step by step and explain to you, I've had this done because I don't know what CPT 89 code means and what that procedure actually was, as opposed to when I was there and they were giving me the procedure, I don't know the technical names for them. So I want to know, and I'll have them sit down with me, whether it takes an hour and a half an hour, and it's your right for them to do that. And lastly, if all else fails, there's always an appeal process. Now, it's different for each healthcare provider, but yes, you can appeal any charges that you have if you feel something was in the wrong. Oh, and side note, and if you don't get an explanation of benefits at all, but you get a bill, never pay the bill until you get that explanation of benefits. You always want to make sure they match up and there's no confusion, because maybe the hospital just sent you a bill before the insurance paid for it, so then you have to go through the process of getting a refund or different things like that. So always wait for your EBO before you pay your bill if the bill comes first. So first, let's talk about the definition of a deductible. A deductible is what you have to pay before your insurance kicks in, just like car insurance, where you may have a $5,000 deductible. And then with the healthcare, what you have to do is say your bill was $1,000, but your deductible is $200. So before they'll kick in and pay any part of that $1,000, you have to pay at least $200 of it. So and then once you pay $200, you have $800 left, and the insurance company will pay the $800. $800 plus $200 is $1,000. Know that depending on the healthcare provider, every deductible is different, plus whatever plan you choose. So make sure you look into that before you have the procedure, so you know what your payments are going to look like going into it. So next, let's talk about coinsurance. So coinsurance is a part of the bill you have to pay after you meet your deductible maximum. And basically what that means is, depending on your plan, the insurance provider will pay 80% and you have to pay 20%. And there's usually a maximum for that too. And once you hit that maximum, then all procedures are paid for. I'll show you more once we get to the example. And lastly, a copayment. A copayment is basically a payment that you have to pay to the actual doctor or hospital during the time of your visit or procedure. Not all plans will have a copay, so make sure you look into your plan to know ahead of time if you need to pay once you get to the doctor's office. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's go check out an example. I'm going to cover two examples. The first one will be where the insurance company covered everything. That's because I had a physical, and a physical is covered under preventive care. And when you have preventive care, they usually cover that 100%. And then I'll show you another one where the insurance company didn't cover all the expenses of the procedure. So as you can see here, the total amount billed was $324. And then you have the little minus. Whatever's in this box will be subtracted from the $324. So there's an insurance discount. And basically what that means is the insurance company and the hospital worked out an agreement that a procedure or procedures will cost a certain amount, so they'll take off a discount. So whatever 324 minus $221.12, which equals $102.88. That's how much I would have owed, but since the insurance company paid for that, my responsibility is zero and nothing was applied to my deductible. As you can see down here, which is kind of a normal view for an EOB, the amount billed, the insurance discount, what the insurance company paid, and then what my responsibility should be. So basically, when I get a bill in the mail from the hospital, it should also be $0. So let's go to the next example. Now in this example, similar to what we saw before, the total amount billed is $865 minus whatever the discount is and whatever the insurance paid. The insurance discount was $688. $688 minus $865 left a balance of $177. This procedure wasn't covered yet by insurance, so they didn't pay anything. So in the end, I owe $177, and that $177 was also applied to my deductible. So what that means is I owe $177. So when I get a bill from the hospital, it should be $177. And then, as before, you can see kind of the normal way it would look if you got this in the mail. You'd see the procedure, you'd see what charges were applied, what the insurance discount was, if your insurance company paid anything, and then what your responsibility should be, so my bill should match that. This is kind of a breakdown of procedures and how much they cost. So if you did have a discrepancy, you would ask the hospital for an itemized bill, and you'd want to match up the procedures and the procedure codes to make sure there wasn't any double billing or something was miscoded or anything like that. You also want to check your name, address, account number, social security, whatever information that identifies you, you want to make sure it all matches, because any of that could cause an error in your bill. Next, we'll talk about deductibles and coinsurance. You can see an example here. Bob has to pay a maximum of $1,000 for in-network and a max of $3,000 for out-of-network services. So basically what that means is before the insurance company pays anything, Bob has to at least pay $1,000 in-network or $3,000 for out-of-network services. And the difference between in-network and out-of-network is your insurance company has doctors and hospitals that they've contracted with that'll charge a certain amount, and that's in-network services. But if you go outside of that because you have a special doctor and they charge whatever they want, you can still go to them, but your deductible is higher, so your out-of-pocket basically is higher. Bob has been to the doctor, and he had some procedures done, and he had to pay $200. For his in-network services, he's paid $200, so subtract $200 from $1,000, so he still has to pay $800 within the calendar year before the insurance will pay anything. This is also applied to his out-of-network services. But since it's $3,000 subtracted from $200, he still has to pay $2,800 before insurance will kick in. Once this is covered, then we're going to move over to coinsurance. So now we're at coinsurance. And as you can see above, within this calendar year, Bob has met his deductible for in-network and out-of-network services. So now we need to go to coinsurance. And basically what coinsurance is, once your deductible is met, coinsurance kicks in. And coinsurance varies by plan, same as the deductible amounts vary by plan. The insurance company will pay 80% and you have to pay 20%. It all depends on what the procedure is and your plan. So in this particular one, the coinsurance is $1,500 in-network and $2,500 out-of-network. What happens is when Bob has any procedure, the hospital will pay 80% of it and he has to pay 20%. And once he reaches a max of $1,500, then everything's covered 100% in network. Or for out-of-network services, again, Bob has to pay 20%. The insurance company will pay 80% of whatever procedure he's having. Once he meets $2,500, every out-of-network service will be covered within that calendar year. So let's look at this example. Bob has $1,500 max. He's already paid in $500. Remember, after the deductible, and then the remaining, he still has $1,000 before everything's covered 100%. And then same as out of network. Bob has a max of $2,500. He's paid $500. They apply to both. So he still has to pay $2,000 out of network before all out of network services are covered within that calendar year. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, leave them below. Thank you. Take care.